you don't have to stop there. Underwater gas tunnels, so you had to go out and find the fossils, and it makes sense because you are actually designing three-dimensional exhibits. Now, in Jurassic World Evolution 2, it feels like you are designing one-dimensional lagoons. We recently got 4 new marine species for around $10 in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and a couple months ago we even received new decorations that can be specifically placed inside the lagoons or around the lagoons. But in case you've never played Jurassic World Evolution 2, or you need a refresher as to how the lagoon design even works in the game, you basically place these really boring lagoon sections, you put animals in them, and that's it. The lagoons might as well be static buildings, not unlike the aviary in Jurassic World Evolution 1. Placing the lagoon sections is very annoying because there is a limited space in the game, and sometimes you need to leave an entire football field amount of space between the lagoon section and the edge of the map, so you just have to end up removing everything and starting all over again. You can only place lagoon sections at limited angles. The height difference on the map also matters in terms of space, and you cannot place outside objects or even paths too close to the lagoons because there is also no path or object snapping. Now, you are probably going to connect to the lagoon a lagoon hatchery, some kind of a viewing station, and a lagoon fish feeder to the edge of the lagoon, but this is pretty much where all the gameplay elements end. Of course, you can place certain decorations inside the lagoon that might as well be invisible underwater, and animals cannot interact with them, or place decorations at the rim to get the same results, though some of these decorations are really pretty and aesthetically pleasing. In the most recent Jurassic World DLC, they've also added a rock that you can place inside the lagoon, because yes, for some reason you cannot place regular rocks inside of water, but only 2 of the DLC animals can even climb up on these floating islands. It's a welcome addition for sure, but not nearly enough. Many YouTubers are creating videos about what they want to add to the lagoons, like for instance beaches you could add to the edge of the lagoons, but even with these changes the lagoons would still remain a very much static building instead of a real exhibit. I really want the developers to see this video, so please consider liking it and commenting something like banana in the comment section below, so YouTube pushes this video up the algorithm, kind of like a fart being pushed up underwater. So there is a game that came out 17 years ago that had every lagoon feature Jurassic World Evolution 2 has, and even more. Of course, I am talking about Zoo Tycoon 2, or more specifically the Marine Mania expansion. So in Zoo Tycoon 2 Marine Mania, you can create water tanks any shape you want, not just add like pre-existing sections like you do in Jurassic World. You can also increase the height or depth of these exhibits. Not only that, but you can place objects inside the water tanks. Some of them are natural decorations that can also be eaten by the animals, which is really cool. Some of them are play toys for the animals, but you can also add floating islands and rocks, and there are different underwater biomes. Now, I know what you are saying, Timmy. Two-siders, this is amazing. I wish they would add these things to the game. Timmy, not only that, but in Zoo Tycoon 2, you can dig any water hole you want, place animals inside this natural water hole, and even change the depth of the water source. Not just in a uniform fashion, by the way, but in a natural way. Not unlike designing the cliffs and the hills above the surface level like right now in the game. Gee, Two-siders, this is amazing. I can both create uniform water tanks and natural water sources separately. Timmy, not only you can do that, but you can combine the water tanks with the natural exhibits to create hybrid exhibits. You can go and view your sea turtles laying their eggs, because they can reproduce in the game, on the land, and then go underwater to view them in their natural habitat under the sea. Two-siders, I don't know what to say. Not only... okay, I'll stop doing that. So you can also, by the way, besides all of this, create bridges that go over the exhibit like a dock. You can place restaurants and other stuff like that on that pier as well. But most importantly, and this is not something we will ever see in Jurassic World Evolution 2, but inside the animal exhibits, some intelligent animals you can train to perform tricks. And training them, by the way, is a little and actually fun minigame in and of itself. And then, after you've trained them, you can connect them to a performance exhibit and create an entire marine animal show. And the purpose of this show is not just for show. Your guest will give larger donations to your zoo after every show, which is very much needed because that game is not brain dead easy to make and generate money in. The more tricks and the better tricks your animals perform, the more complicated also they are to teach to your animals, but you will get higher show ratings and of course higher donations. Anyways, side point, remember to like and banana. But the fact is, designing Marine Mania exhibits is so much fun. When I play Zoo Tycoon 2, I almost always end up designing at least a half marine zoo, even instead of creating cool dinosaurs, because by the way, you can also do that in Zoo Tycoon 2. And just for the record, creating dinosaurs in Zoo Tycoon 2 wasn't boring either. So you had to go out and find the fossils yourself in your park, put them together in an ever-increasing difficulty of puzzles, and then play a minigame to actually create your dinosaurs. Now, this sounds tedious, and it can be, but you got a free dinosaur out of it. And like I said, in Zoo Tycoon 2, it wasn't nearly as easy to make money as it is in Jurassic World Evolution 2, so it was worth it. So anyways, even with dinosaurs in the game, and jeep rides and tram rides and bridges and all this fun stuff, the most fun I've had in Zoo Tycoon 2 was designing these hybrid underwater exhibits. And it makes sense because you are actually designing three-dimensional exhibits instead of like the regular on-the-land two-dimensional exhibits. Now in Jurassic World Evolution 2, it feels like you are designing one-dimensional lagoons instead though. Now of course, Zoo Tycoon 2 wasn't a perfect game either. Most of the underwater stuff you've placed was just for decoration. The underwater biomes didn't really change anything besides your animals' environmental needs, of course. And there were only like 20 marine animals, but come on, in Jurassic World Evolution 2 we have 13 marine animals, and that is with 2 paid DLCs. So of course Jurassic World Evolution 2 is probably a way more complicated video game in terms of code than Zoo Tycoon 2 was, and it is obviously very pretty and realistic. Adding all these features that I mentioned from Zoo Tycoon 2 Marine Mania would require tremendous amounts of effort on the developer's part, but you don't understand. These features would propel Lagoons to be the most fun exhibits to design. Right now they are the least fun exhibits to design. And the developers don't have to feel like they simply copied or stole Zoo Tycoon 2's content. I don't think Blue Fang and Microsoft would mind, and I don't think any of us players would mind if they stole those features. But it's not just that. You don't have to stop there. The developers at Frontier could add the features of Zoo Tycoon 2 and add even more, go even further. You could add underwater caves, underwater guest tunnels. You could even add underwater environment elements, like animals requiring you to paint. Just like on the land, you have to paint kelp forests so they can hide in coral reefs, geothermal geysers. You have to place Nautilus swarms from which they can eat from, or just simply sand and rock. Maybe, just maybe, some animals require shallow water to clean themselves of parasites. Maybe some animals require deeper and colder water. So even if Frontier adds none of this stuff that I mentioned in this video, I'll still play Jurassic World Evolution 2 because I find it fun. I'm probably just gonna ignore Lagoons most of the time, but that's fine. If you ever want to try out Zoo Tycoon 2 with all of its expansions, it's probably best to just download it somewhere. It's so old you cannot buy it anywhere online except in a physical form. I did actually rebuy this a couple of years ago from Amazon, but I don't even have enough cables for my disc reader anymore, so I just ended up downloading it somewhere else anyways. If you've enjoyed this video, again, I really want this to reach more people, so please consider liking it. You don't have to comment banana below, by the way. You can also just let me know your thoughts. Did you play Zoo Tycoon 2 before? What would you like to add to the Lagoons of Jurassic World? Thanks so much for watching. This has been Two Siders, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye.